Step right. Maker's breath. Oh, beg your pardon, friend. You, startled me a bit.
We're looking for a Kunari sword.
Kun what? I'm sorry, I don't know what that...
Where is my sword?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
Alright, just kill him, Sten. We can search his belongings for it.
I don't have it. I swear by Andraste's knickers. I sold it on the way here.
Sten, tear his arms off.
No, I swear I don't have it. I sold it to a dwarf in Redcliffe, name of Dwin.
What would a dwarf want with a Kunari blade?
I don't rightly know. He said he was a collector. It's none of my business what a person wants with my merchandise once it's changed hands.
We'll see.
Vieta! This land is held in trust for the sovereign dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
I have an urgent need to talk to your king.
Who doesn't? If I don't get in, no one should.
Orzammar has no king. Endrin Idukan returned to the stone not 3 weeks ago, sick over the loss of his sons. The assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
I'm a Grey Warden. This treaty obliges Orzammar to aid me.
The Wardens killed King Kaelin and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the royal seal. That means only the assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Run to your false king. The dwarves will not hear him today.
You'll hear of this. King Loghain will see you quartered.
You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden, though I don't know what help you will find.
A trust follow, Warden. Your arrival is a mixed blessing.
Those statues are dwarven paragons, if I remember right. Best of their ancestors.
Now that's a thing of beauty, daughter. If you work hard like Branka, all Orzammar will know your name.
Mother, I don't want to be like her.
Don't say that! Not to me, not to anyone. Now get back to the forge. I want to see more details.
Show respect, Surfacer. You're in the Hall of Heroes, home to the best of us.
The figures are quite grand indeed.
Paragons, dwarves who achieve such greatness, they're considered ancestors even if they yet walk among us. If only we had one now. A unifier. A voice like that, there would be no dissension.
Perhaps I can help.
Perhaps I don't want you to. A Surfacer should not see us in this kind of disarray. Goodbye, Warden. I hope you're not needed.
So I take it you did not enjoy your Templar training?
That's directed at me, I take it.
Do you see any others about who have failed at their religious instruction?
I didn't fail. I was recruited into the Grey Wardens.
And if you had not been recruited, what would have happened instead?
I would have turned into a drooling lunatic, slaughtered the Grand Cleric, and run through the streets of Denham in my small clothes, I guess.
Your self-awareness does you credit.
I thought you'd like that.
It is the Assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the Assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew!
Handlers, separate these Deshers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
Not speak that way about the man who should be king!
Vieta, Surfacer. I'm bid to let you walk the commons, but keep your place. Warden or not, I want order.
The Blight is coming. I need Orzammar's assistance.
Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the Assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Balin, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here.
Paragons?
Surfacers appoint no paragons? Truly, you're lost in all that sky. They are the best of us, declared living ancestors. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
Sounds like Balin and Harriman are the ones to talk to.
They've caged themselves for fear of each other. As you've seen, keeping order down among us working people is dodgy. No place for a proper lord. Balin speaks through his second, Vartag Gavorn, in the Assembly. Lord Harrowmont speaks through Dulin Ferender from his estate.
Can a city function like this?
See, that's why I don't want you surfacers seeing our worst. You'll think that's all we are. The market is thin, but busy, and the tavern never closes. Bad blood is usually kept to the proving. Should toss Balin and Harrowmont in there, sort this all out in a hurry.
The proving?
Personal battles for honor and ancestor. I don't expect a surfacer to understand.
Sisters, guard my son, for he is lost in darkness. Mothers, keep him safe. I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? Although, I can't imagine your ancestors reside in the stone.
What were you praying for?
My name is Vilda, widow of Turok of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Ruck. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul.
Safe return. Your son is missing.
It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud. But he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them.
Do you want me to look for him?
How? There is no way except to brave the deep roads yourself.
I'm a Grey Warden. That's what we do.
A warden? So you could do it. Only wardens face the deep roads without a company backing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers. Please, find me as soon as you return.
Maker's blessing on you, brother.
Huh, I didn't think dwarves believed in the Maker.
I'm Brother Burkle of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light.
Even in the very bowels of the earth, we hear no end of this chant.
And that is something to rejoice in, good sister. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzammar.
Don't dwarves worship their ancestors or something?
There is resistance. It's obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. But Orzammar persists in worshipping its paragons and forefathers instead of the Maker.
Let them worship whatever they like. The Kun is the only way to enlightenment.
If that's true, then he will come to it in time.
False philosophies hinder his journey. This chantry encourages faith in an unknown god instead of understanding oneself.
Are you saying you will help?
What? No, I was just talking to Sten.
Never mind. The Shaper of Memories has refused me so far. I thought perhaps with another advocate. Well, if you have a change of heart, let me know.
Ugh, just do not buy anything, or touch anything, or sit anywhere.
Afternoon, stranger. You looking for a stool to share a brew?
Don't mind if I do.
I recommend the Lycan Ale. They brew it downstairs. Name's Naveen. I fight with Prince Balin's Expeditionary Field Unit. Yourself?
I'm Julian, a Grey Warden.
Figured as much. Good folks, wardens. I was in the Deep Roads when that one came by. What was his name? Dunca... something like that.
You knew Duncan?
I met him, sure. Good man. Solid. He knows what we go through in the Deep Roads. Not many do. Not even the ones who live this close. You have to be on the front lines.
You work for Balin?
I go where I'm sent, fight when I'm there, and leave politics where it belongs.
Who's your unit fighting?
Darkspawn. Not much use in turning our weapons elsewhere while those vermin still live.
I've never been in the Deep Roads.
Every Grey Warden ends up there. That's where they send you when you're ready to leave this world. Go die in the dark, putting away as many vermin as you can. Getting more crowded these days, though. Lots of people interested all of a sudden. We go back tomorrow, and we're not the only ones.
Who's sending you out?
Balin ordered us in at first bell. He's splitting us into 4 teams to search for some of the lost taigs. Looking for signs of Bronca, I guess. Seems to be who everyone's after.
Who's Bronca?
Bronca was a paragon, some kind of great smith or whatnot. But she went batty and let her whole house into the deep roads more than 2 years ago. No chance she could have survived. And a lot of good men are gonna die looking for her corpse. Excuse me. This brew is starting to taste awful bitter.
Lord Dennick Helmy, honored Desher of the Orzammar Assembly, and terrible disappointment to my esteemed mother, who doesn't like me spending time in taverns. You understand what I'm saying, right? On the surface, there are no castes, and it works fine. Am I right, Warden?
You know me. Word travels fast.
You don't get far as the youngest and most outspoken member of the Assembly without keeping an ear to the stone. I heard there was a Grey Warden in town. No offense, but you kind of stand out.
Things are hardly equal on the surface.
But there are those like you who see this with concern, no? Well, I've taken the time to actually talk to the other castes. You know, most smiths and tavern keeps would make decent deshers if we gave them a chance and a seat in the Assembly. Orzammar is so mired in tradition, no one bothers asking if the castes are even necessary.
How does the caste system work anyway?
Badly. Oh, you're serious? Well, it's simple, I guess. The king and elected deshers of the Assembly are at the top. Then it's the nobles. Then the warriors and all the craftsmen. At the bottom are servants. The casteless and criminals are below even that. Your caste is determined by that of your same-sex parent. And that's where you stay your whole life, whatever your skill.
So you get to vote on the next king.
Me and 79 other fine, upstanding examples of how someone who's born into every privilege inevitably wants more. They're not fond of my views on equality.
Who are you voting for?
I doubt either candidate has been outside the Diamond Quarter in his life. But Lord Harrowmont seems a bit more forgiving. Prince Balin's brilliant, I'll give him that, and subtle as sin. But I don't think anything in Orzammar matters more to him than winning.
You look like you're not from around here.
Can I help you?
I've been trying forever to find someone who really knows the surface world. I don't suppose you've heard of something called the Circle?
The Circle of Magi?
I've been trying to reach someone there for years. I've sent missives with every caravan, but I never get a reply. I want to know if they would accept me for study.
Why wouldn't they?
No dwarf has ever studied at the Circle of Magi. I guess you never read First Enchanter Caitlin's treatise concerning dwarfs and the non-heritability of magic. He tested dwarfs from 20 bloodlines and found they couldn't perform any level of spell casting, regardless of lyrium exposure or time on the surface. The Circle speculates that lyrium in the stone shields us from spiritual influences, and over time made us immune to them.
Right. Of course I read that.
I want to go to the Circle to study.
I assure you that desire will depart the moment you arrive.
I don't want to do magic. No dwarf can cast spells, but I don't see why I shouldn't study it. It would be a valuable exchange. Orzammar would learn of one of the great natural forces of the surface. And the Circle gains direct access to our knowledge of lyrium smithing.
I can bring the Circle your request.
That would be wonderful. My name is Dagna, daughter of Janar of the Smith Caste. Tell them I've already begun reading the Tevinter Imperium's Forticum Kadab, and it's just fascinating. Did you know the Imperial Magister Lords once had genealogies of every human family known to produce a mage child? Oh, I'll go pack my bags right now. I'll be waiting by my father's shop.
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace. The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand. I apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories.
Shaper of Memories?
The Shaper it guards Orzammar's knowledge. We have preserved in Lyrium all of the records of Dwarven history. The memories record all. They are how we know to which family a child owes life, how we trace lost taigs. They ensure we forget nothing of our past, good or bad.
Let's talk about Orzammar, Lord Shaper.
Ask, and I shall do my best to answer.
What's the difference between an ancestor and a paragon?
All dwarves who die return to the stone as ancestors, to guide their families forever. But only one every few generations rises to paragon. A paragon is a dwarf whose accomplishments change Orzammar so much that the Assembly recognizes they've been born blessed. They are venerated as living ancestors and found a new noble house forever bearing their name.
And that's what Branka was?
Branka is a paragon, now and into death. She was born a smith, but her inventions caught the Assembly's eye. Before she had seen 20 years, she created a smokeless coal. It could burn in a cave without vents and no one would choke from it. It earned her paragon status.
Where is Branka now?
She went into the deep roads 2 years ago seeking out secrets of the ancient smiths. She never returned.
How did the caste system come to be?
According to our legends, 7 brothers founded our empire. The youngest, Bloadlik, was the wisest and was chosen king. His children formed the noble caste. The eldest, Kiachet, trained his sons to defend their king. They became the warrior caste. Shotgyar founded the artisans. Orzatyar forged our first swords. It was Orzammar who dug the mines that became our city's foundations. The twins Koapar and Noct both founded trading houses, but Noct was wounded in battle. On his recovery, he swore to serve his brother's sons.
What about the casteless?
The casteless descend from criminals and those repudiated by their own families, or who chose to go to the surface and live by human laws. They have no ancestors to guide them and no families to claim them. They should not have been born. Their parents defied their shame and brought cursed children into the world. It's better they die young.
I can't talk to someone who thinks that.
Our beliefs have kept us through 4 blights and countless kings. Consider that before you dismiss them.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions. Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. I'm sorry. This is the assembly of the clans. Only Deshers and occasional guests of state are allowed in.
You don't recognize a Grey Warden?
Forgive me. I am so exhausted. I completely forgot about the message from the gate guard. Welcome to Orzammar, Warden. I hope you can forgive our unrest. The loss of our king has hit us hard. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne.
Is there any way I can break the stalemate?
I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Balin or Lord Harrimont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
Warden, welcome. It is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag Gavorn, top advisor to our good Prince Balin. What news do you bring?
I need aid against the Blight.
Yes, the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now.
Battling the Blight is more important than politics.
No one wishes this fight over more than Balin. But while it rages, Orzammar can spare no one to combat what may or may not be a new Blight.
Are you implying a Grey Warden wouldn't recognize a Blight?
I believe you. But what are we to do? If Balin followed his heart and sent his men to aid you, Harrimont would steal his throne. We would defeat the Blight and return to find our homeland devastated by an incompetent tyrant.
And if you don't fight, your homeland gets destroyed.
Perhaps you could prove to Prince Balin your intentions are just. If you show you owe Harrimont no fealty, I'm sure Balin would help you. Harrimont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrimont's deception, I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude.
Just tell me where to go.
Haramond promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady DAII and Lord Helmi. Haramond can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Haramond gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes.
What do you want? Ah, I suppose you're the Grey Warden everyone's talking about.
You might want to look at these papers.
Well, this isn't exactly a surface broadsheet. Where did you get these? Never mind. It is true enough, but there's nothing I can do about it. This deal was made on behalf of our entire house. Only my father can revoke it.
Where is he? I'll bring these to him.
He is leading a deep roads expedition, trying to secure an ancient thaig. It's unlikely he'll be back before the election, but perhaps this vote is important enough for you to brave the tunnels to tell him? The DAII family would be in your debt.
I'll go tell him.
Thank you. He was searching an old Idukan site. He left me with this map, in case his expedition never returned. I'll give you a pass as well. Usually no one is allowed past the front lines. Good luck.
2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Branka didn't go alone, Ogren. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapster's and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha!
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman. Can you believe it? Ogren's barely even warrior caste anymore, and he just clomps in here like he's entitled.
What do you mean by barely warrior caste?
Well, he killed Lord Mino's youngest son in a duel to first blood. It was a huge scandal. Ogren should have been executed, but he'd won honors in the deep roads. Instead, they stripped him of all weapons and forbid him from engaging in fights within city limits. If he breaks the decree, he'll be exiled.
Why does Ogren care so much about Branka anyway?
She's still his wife, isn't she? Even if she took their entire house into the deep roads and abandoned him.
Branka was married to that drunk?
Well, before she was a paragon, she was just a smith, and Ogren was one of the best warriors of his generation.
Why did Branka go into the deep roads?
Chasing some old treasure. She was quite secretive, outright rude, really. She said she never asked to found a house, that she didn't care about politics, and that we were too self-absorbed to defeat the Darkspawn. She actually threatened anyone who said they'd come after her.
What were you and Ogren arguing about?
It's been 2 years since Branka left. No one has ever stayed in the deep roads that long and survived. The search teams who went out found nothing, but Ogren wants to keep risking lives searching.
This is all I have right now. I could get more if I sell something.
Well, well, looks like we have a visitor. Friend of yours?
Is there a problem here, friend? Are these men threatening you?
Please, don't get involved with this. You don't know what they're like.
Then allow me to make some introductions. These are dangerous times in Orzammar, stranger. Lucky us, the merciful Jarvia is offering protection from the chaos. You're wearing some fancy stuff there. Might make you a target. So if you want the Carta's guarantee of safety, it's yours for the reasonable price of 10 gold sovereigns. Or I can't say what might happen.
That sounded like a threat.
Are you going to make your donation to the Stranger Safety Fund? Or do I have to show you how dangerous Orzammar is?
Show me, little man.
Whatever you say, dead man.
You Battle Konari! What have you done? Great ancestors, he's dead! In my store. I have to get out of here. I have to hide. Jarvia will hunt me down for this.
What, no token of gratitude?
For painting my name on the largest target in Orzammar? Sodding stone, why do you think we pay Javia's extortion? You've ruined me. If I die, it's your fault. I have to run.
I wasn't expecting you back. I guess you realize this is about the only fun in Orzammar?
I have news. Harrowmont is double-dealing you and Lady DAII.
Oh, well, I'd ask for proof, or why you care, but frankly, I'm so tired of it I'm not even surprised anymore. I don't even want the land, but my house would kill me if I turned it down. Responsibilities, you know. Now I'll have to go through the whole process of rejecting the deal. And we'll both have to try something else. And I thought it was going to be a nice day.
Why vote for Harrowmont if you didn't want the land?
I actually thought he was the better candidate. You must think I'm pretty soddy naive, huh? They're all the same, well-dressed, blood-sucking cave ticks. I'll have to inform Mother that Lord Harrowmont hasn't bought our vote after all.
What do you want? Hey, I heard about you. Grey Warden, coming from the surface. Great crisis in the world. Someone saw you talking to Vartag Gavorn, and now it's all over that you've been doing dirty errands for Balin. I figured you'd be the one, you know, who could help me find Branka. But I guess you're just like all the rest.
My only concern is raising allies against the Blight.
You don't need a king to face a Blight. You need a paragon. The Assembly elects them, but they're higher than the Assembly. They become nobles, but they're more than anyone born to a house. They're what every dwarf with a spine not made of soap dreams of being.
And this Branka is one of them?
City's only living paragon, and she's been lost in the deep roads for 2 years. 2 years, and no one's raised a bleeding army to go look for her. Why do you care, huh? You looking to uncover all her secrets? Is that what Balin wants? I know he's been poking around, trying to find things out about her, what she was looking for. Won't tell me spit, though. He wants it for himself, right? A little blessing from the Ancients' technology, and he's assured the throne. Is that it?
What are you talking about? What technology?
You are looking for it. Of course, that's all anyone cares about. Well, sod off and sod your mother, too. I need a bleeding drink. You keep on your errands. Until your boss really commits to looking, you're getting nothing but smoke out of old Ogren.
What's this? A human? Did we make these tunnels tall enough for humans? I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you past the front lines without Adesh's permission. And I've heard nothing of any new patrols scheduled to leave today.
I'm on business for Balin. I have to find Lord DAII.
I see you have his daughter's seal, so I will not stop you. But be careful. Just because the beasts are pulled back from Orzammar doesn't mean there are any fewer in the deep roads. Either we finally have the edge, which I doubt, or the beasts are building up numbers for the next attack.
Actually, they've made their move on the surface.
The surface? But I thought the vermin never went up that far except
during blights. Ancestors save us if that's what's happening.
What do you know about Paragon Branka?
What anyone knows. She went out there with her entire house and she's never coming back.
You don't think maybe she's still there, Commander? She is a paragon, after all.
And now she's an ancestor. No one lasts 2 years in the tunnels.
Are Darkspawn the only danger in these tunnels?
Of course not. Down here, you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin.
Deep stalkers?
Ugly beasts they are. Walk on 2 legs, but they have the head of a worm and hunt in packs. Watch out. They're not afraid to take on a group their own size.
Are there no dwarves past this point?
A few outposts. Legion of the Dead, mostly. Fools that they are. Some scavenger types, too.
Legion of the Dead?
It's an independent company of soldiers. They accept no command but their own. Anyone who can bear arms can join, no matter his crimes, or sanity. They hold a funeral when they join and swear their only goal is a glorious death.
pulled us from a tight spot, friend. You have my gratitude. I am Lord Anwar Dace. So what's a human doing out here anyway?
You should look at these papers.
I don't understand. What could... These are the terms of a deal we made with Lord Harriman, but... the charlatan. He's promised the exact same land to Helmy. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I owe you twice now. My life and my house's fortune.
Perhaps you would return that favor.
Ah yes, a favor for a favor. My family is very influential with some of the surface merchants. If you attend any of their stores, you'll find them quite obliging to any friend of the Daces. I must return now. My men need healing and I want to look into this. Do you wish to travel with us?
Sure. Safety in numbers, right?
Then let us reach Orzammar before more beasts find our scent.
Lady Dace just came through the quarter on a tear. She's telling everyone who'll listen what a leech and a liar Harriman is. Good job. So you were serious about wanting to help us. Are you ready to meet Balin now?
Of course, he sounds so charming.
I'm going to assume that wasn't sarcasm. I warn you, be on your best behavior, and keep your weapons sheathed.
I am impressed, Warden. Not many outsiders so quickly grasp Orzammar's rather convoluted politics. I am Prince Balin. Fartag told me of your efforts against the usurper who tried to claim my father's throne.
Funny, I heard you're the one King Endrin didn't want ruling.
My father lost 2 sons when one turned against the other. He was mad with grief, and Harriman did all he could to drive him over the edge. I was his only living child, and Harriman barred me from him. I had to tell him goodbye by common messenger. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harriman was the only one by his side?
Calm down. All I care about is getting troops to face the Blight.
Then we have a common goal. We may not like each other, but the Blight is our first priority. We need absolute unity to fight against the fulcrum of true evil.
Then send your men and we will leave for the surface today.
Unfortunately, while this debate rages, I have no power to send the troops you need. You've seen for yourself, the city is a slaughterhouse. Criminals run lawless. I could never hold the throne if I allowed such chaos.
Are you trying to go back on your word?
I only promised to hear your story. Now I will help when I can, but I must send what troops I have now to combat Jarvia and her so-called Carta.
I saw Jarvia's men threatening a merchant.
They know Orzammar is divided now and has no time for them. It's made them bold. If I show the city I can eliminate such a threat, well, let's just say my position would be stronger.
Oh wait, let me guess. You want my help?
I'd never ask for such a thing, but if you do eliminate Jarvia and her thugs, you would have my gratitude. And my promise that as king I will send as many troops as you need to fight the Darkspawn. Unfortunately, I have little information on Jarvia. Her base of power is in Dust Town, the lowest part of the city, and my men have few sources there. Maybe the castless will talk more freely with a stranger.
I'll go look for her right now.
And I will wait eagerly for your return.
Have you a coin to spare, my lord? It's for my son. He's sick. He hasn't any clean clothes to wear or anything to eat today. Neither have I.
Why doesn't your son's father help you?
A question I ask every day. He was eager enough for a daughter who would bring him into the mining caste. But since the boy was born, I've not seen nose or heel of the lout. And me alone on the street, forbidden to return to my family unless I... But no, I can't bear to even think of it.
What does your family want you to do?
My son's father is casteless, as is he. I used to be a miner, but my parents stripped my caste and refused to accept me back. Unless I agree to abandon the child in the deep roads and pretend I never bore him.
That's horrible.
I cannot abandon my baby. The Shapers teach that only children of true lineage exist, not those born casteless. But they never carried a child. He cries like any other infant, and smiles when he's warm and full. I can't kill him because of an accident of birth, an accident I forced on him.
Maybe I could reason with your family.
You would do that? But why?
I don't like to see a child suffer.
Then I cannot offer enough gratitude. But I warn you, my father is a stiff-necked man. His name is Ordell, and he's usually at tapsters in the evening. I do not think he will listen to you. but I will wait anxiously to see if you can do what you promise.
Well, look at that. It's not often old Nadezhda sees a fine-dressed stranger here in Dust Town. Help a poor cripple.
And what'll you give me in exchange?
What are you looking for?
Do you know a woman named Jarvia?
Know her. I used to run with her. Jarvia took over the Carta not more than a year ago, and already she's got every duster with both legs bearing swords for her.
Where could I find her?
Won't be easy. She's gotten real careful since Barat died. Real paranoid. She's got Carta members all carrying these fingerbone tokens. She scratches some mark into them so she'll know they came from her. There's doors to her base all over the city, but only one is ever open at a time. And if you show up without a token, you'd never know it was there.
Where do I find one of these tokens?
Can't help you there, Salrocca. The Carta members keep them real tight. But that's worth something, right? Maybe just a little.
I'll give you 10 silver. Take care of yourself.
I'll think of you when I go to bed with a full stomach.
Well, look what we have here. Jarvia said you were looking for trouble. Congratulations. You found it. Don't kill me! Sorry, ancestors. What do they teach you on the surface? You fight like a bleeding archdemon. Sweet bloody stone, look at them all.
Tell me how to find Jarvia or you join them.
The base is below the city. You can get to it through the wall of the third house on this row. Put this token through the slot, and it'll open. Will you let me go now?
Yeah, and you don't want to be at Jarvia's when I get there.
Really? Oh, thank you. You're a good person. How do they say it? The ancestors have shown their favor. Bless you.
What's the password?
I don't know. No, wait, I remember. Die, scum!
Looks like we have a martyr, boys.
Another battle, I see.
There is no glory in bloodshed!
So Balin finally realized his throne means nothing if he can't hold it, yet he still doesn't bother to send his own men. Well, you picked the wrong side, stranger. It doesn't matter who's king, as long as there's a queen.
You know, you're awfully cocky for someone whose entire Carta is dead.
You'll pay for their deaths 100 times over. Kill them! But leave the mouthy one alive. I have plans for him.
Very well.
I have silenced him. Around my wrist! I'm going to wear your blasphemy teeth around my wrist!
Shall we done? God! By all the beards of my ancestors! Where did you come from? You made a hole in my wall!
That hole leads to a tunnel in the Carta's hideout.
It does? Oh, sod it. If people find out about this, my business will be ruined. They'll think I have something to do with Jarvia.
Don't worry about it. Jarvia's dead.
Dead? How? Did you... You did, didn't you? You killed her. And then you climbed out of there into my shop. Oh, just leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with this. And if anyone comes asking, I'm gonna tell them you did it.
Janar, do you have a daughter named Dagna?
Has she been bothering you? Gets a whiff of surface stink and she's like a cave tick. Won't let go.
I'd like to help her study with the mages.
Do you even know what that means? If Dagna goes to the surface, she forfeits her caste. She'll never be able to marry or work in Orzammar again. Dwarves don't do magic. Dagna knows that. It's just a childhood fantasy that dies hard. Please, if you see her, send her back and let me talk some sense into her.
You're back? But it takes 2 weeks and 4 days minimum to make the journey to the Circle Tower.
Why do I get the feeling charting routes to the Circle Tower is one of her favorite hobbies?
I'm guessing you haven't left yet.
I can't leave Orzammar until this election is resolved.
Well, I've waited 19 years. Another month won't kill me.
You know, your father doesn't want you going to the Circle.
You talked to him? Of course he won't let me go. He wants to sell me off for the highest dowry. I don't care if I lose my caste. I'll stay on the surface forever.
Why are you so interested in magic anyway?
Here in Orzammar, we're surrounded by stone and tradition and more stone. Nothing ever changes. But to break every natural law by thinking about it, to dream and walk in a realm where everything you think comes true, I can't imagine anything more wonderful.
Well, you've simply outdone yourself. They're talking all over the city about how someone finally went through Dusttown and slaughtered the Carta like genlocks.
I did what you asked. Do you have my troops?
Not yet. Killing Jarvia brought me greater favor. But to truly displace Harrowmont, we'll need something dramatic enough to end the debate forever. What do you know of the Paragon Branca?
Not this again. She was a smith and inventor.
2 years ago, she heard of something the ancients created. It inspired her to leave everything behind and venture into the deep roads. She is the only Paragon in 4 generations, and she turned her back on her responsibilities. A Paragon is like an ancestor born in this time. If she returned, her vote would outweigh the entire assembly. Anyone with her support could take the throne unchallenged.
If it will get me my troops, I will find Branca.
I was hoping you'd say that. So far, my men have traced Branca to Caridin's Cross, an ancient crossroad lost to the Darkspawn 4 centuries ago. Her trail ends there. Perhaps with your warden's expertise, you can find what my men could not.
What if Branca won't support you?
I was hoping you could use your legendary charm to persuade her that the rightful king should take the throne. However, if the deep roads have addled her wits, it might be best she not return before the kingship is decided.
Are you suggesting I should kill her?
I would never say that. She is a paragon. It is my duty to protect her. On the other hand, we must respect her decisions. Should she prefer to stay in the deep roads rather than help her rightful king take the throne, we must assist her. By any means necessary.
I'll leave right now to find her.
You have my thanks. Seek her in Caridin's Cross. I will try to delay the vote until you return.
What are you looking at, stranger?
What kind of monster throws his child out on the street?
Oh, I'm the monster, not the casteless wretch that filled my daughter with his brat. I've got a family and a reputation to protect. I'm not letting one stupid girl drag us all down.
If you don't take them back, that's murder.
Murder? You think she'd die just to keep that thing? She knows what she has to do to come home. I never wanted her gone. Just the little cur. Can't she see she'd have a better life if she got rid of it?
Could you pretend your child never existed?
I've been trying. It's not as easy as I thought. Look, just tell her... We never meant to hurt her. It just seemed best that... Oh, just tell her to come home. Her mother and I are waiting for her.
You're back. I thought you weren't coming. What did he say?
Your father wants you both to come home.
Both of us? I don't believe he said that. I've never heard him refer to my son as anything but trash. He calls him it. But maybe Mother convinced him. Or you did. Oh, my friend. I cannot thank you enough. If this were a story, my son would grow to manhood and pledge himself as a knight in your service. When he grows up, I will send him to you. I promise.
So you're the one who killed Jarvia. Do you know what you've done? Jarvia was no paragon, but she looked after her own. Even the nobles wouldn't cross her. If you think we're gonna let you waltz around like you own the place, you're wrong. For Jarvia! Attack!
More enemies ahead. As you said.
There you are. I thought I'd spoken to a Grey Warden, but for some reason I chalked it up to the drink. I know you're down here to look for Branca, and I need to ask a favor.
Join the club.
Name's Ogren, and if you've ever heard of me before, it's probably all been about how I piss ale and kill little boys who look at me wrong. And that's mostly true. But the part they never say is how I'm the only one still trying to save our only paragon. And if you're looking for Branca, I'm the only one who knows what she was looking for, which might be pretty sodding helpful in finding her.
And what do you want in return for this information?
I know what Branka wanted, and how she was looking. You presumably know everything Balin scouts have discovered about where she disappeared. If we pool our knowledge, we stand a chance of finding Branka. Otherwise, good sodding luck.
Don't I have enough armed lunatics following me already?
Perfect. What's one more? Branka was a brilliant girl, but half the time she'd add 2 and 2 and make it 50. You want to find her, you need someone who knows how she thinks.
Sounds like we have a deal.
You should know that Branka was looking for the Anvil of the Void, the secret to building golems, which was lost centuries ago. The smith Caridin built it, and with it, Orzammar had 100 years of peace, while it was protected by the golems forged on the anvil. As far as anyone knows, the anvil was built in the old Orton Taig. Branka planned to start looking there, if she could ever find it. All she knew was that it was past Caridin's cross. No one's seen that Taig for 500 years.
If you're married, why aren't you out there with Branka?
Why do you sodding think? She left me. Ran off and took our entire sodding house on her mad quest for the anvil. It was a stupid move. If I'd been with her, she'd have made it back years ago. But I forgive her.
Balin gave me a map. I can get to Caridin's cross.
If we're going, let's get moving. Branka's not gonna sodding find herself.
Be careful out there.